life story, when I was a little boy, my grandmother's father and his mother, they raised me in the place they call Enemy Swim. Toka Nueapi, that's Enemy Swim. That's a historical point where we've seen it for the run shipways. That point there where we live and run across on the island, and the swim is stretched, I don't know, must be 100 yards or 200 yards or what it was. Deep water, it was high water that time, so they swam that. That's how they got their name, that lake, that place where it was Enemy Swim. In English they call it Lake Parker, I think, at one time, but he never did carry it, just that Enemy Swim. North of there's another lake they call Pickerel Lake. I don't know why, a lot of pickerels up there, fish, some great big ones. Well, I was born there, and they raised me there. Long story back over there too, I suppose, but I don't feel like telling it. It's my life anyway. Them days before, I want to tell you about when I went to school. When they first took me to school, them days they come in a buggy, sometimes two-seated buggies, mules, and they pick up kids, and each place like me, wherever they're going to go on different homes, and pick them up, take them down to the boarding school, all in a day's trip. That's about all. And they put us there, give us uniforms, and we lived there. Everything's all clothes all look alike. It look funny. Corduroy, knee pants, black stockings, and heavy underwear, all that stuff. Anyway, before they took me to school, my uncle, he cut my hair off. I had two long braids on each side. I seen him years afterwards. My grandmother had them. Big long braids to them. Oh, she was mad. I guess she hit the ceiling. See, them days there was tradition, customs. That you cannot cut a man, boy or girl with hair off until you make it big deal out of it. Nowadays they can name you, they give you horses, they give away horses, blankets, and all that stuff. It's the same thing when they going to cut a guy's hair off. You give him away, become a white man. Well, they had a big mad there for a long time, but our uncle, he done that on me. So as soon after that must be that fall, I don't know who took me down there. I can't remember good. It must be my grandfather. He took me down there. The boarding school. My daughter, Lillian, she's seen that new agency they made at that place where we went. Not at the old, where we turned back to camp, but where I told them there was a boarding school there. All new buildings. That's where we had that big long building. Oh, it must be 150, maybe 200, 150 feet or something like that long, maybe nowadays. East end was all big boys and little boys. Then came the dining room and the kitchen, dining room, and underneath there was a step or furnace-like. Then the girls' room, upstairs and downstairs, all connected. Way at the end was superintendent. At the east end was the boy disciplinarian. We had a disciplinarian called Pete Eastman. I remember him. I just want to tell you how they treat us there. if they caught us talking Indian, they'd punish us. I mean, they punish us. You hold your hand out and they whip you with a strap or a little thick straps or even a hard stick. They hit you with the hand and give you a licking. Boy, they'll make you cry. To catch us talking Indian. Isn't that terrible? They didn't want us to talk Indian, they want to talk English. So I had to learn my English. Boy, it was hard for the first year. I don't know how I ever made it. But I must have stayed there 3 years. Maybe I thought I was 3 years. I don't know. Anyway, in the summertime, we come home. It's just little ways anyway. Nowadays, it'll take us about maybe half an hour or so, maybe a little bit to go. Maybe a little more than that to get by car, go over there and come back. Them days it take us all day in a team, mostly. Well, anyway, that was my life, we had an outside toilet. I wish I could see it. It's about, maybe, that was a long ways too, maybe 100 yards from the boys' building east. Big, long, low shed-like on the side of a big hole underneath that dug it out. And on top, that room on the one wall was all full of toilet holes, benches, toilet holes like we sit up there. And it was cold. It wasn't insulated. There was no such a thing. It's cold. There was no toilet paper like we have nowadays. You had your own paper, you find out what you could take. That's about all it was. How tough they treat us. Our hands get chapped and oh boy, they stand in an array for Vaseline and they call it goose grease and all that. It was a terrible little life I had, trying to make a white man out of me. I remember them. I don't know what I used to, was small, I used to work in a house, sweep. We had to scrub dining rooms or upstairs. No, I mean scrub. In Pipestone, Minnesota, we done the same thing. You take strips up on that floor and we go down with pail and water and you scrub it with they call it GI soap. It's a great big brown lye soap, homemade soap. That's what cracks our hands up. They all give us cord rag caps, and all different, same size, same color and everything. And they mark it for us, our initials or whatever it is. If you lose it, boy, you got a licking. They pound you up. Then we even taught us how to drill with the little wooden guns. It's a military. I think concentration camps would they would treat us better. Well, we ate 3 times a day, but there was no free school. We had to work half a day and go to school half a day. And I was so small, it didn't bother me much. Just when spring comes, we get to go home. Grandfather, they come in a wagon, everybody took us home. The last year I was there, I got wise. A fellow man named Edward Camel. He's from north of. We went to it's a Presbyterian mission church, but the white missioners run it. Pretty good place, I guess. I never go over there. But we seen a little, it's a chain drive car. They got rubber, 2 inner tubes, good ones. Them days rubbers were real rubber, Me and this boy went over there and we cut that tire. There's nobody there, so we pull that tube out, cut it up. You know how we made slingshots? Oh, we were big shots. Well, we had slingshots, real rubber. We was trading off big strips of rubber for anything we get. Here's somebody told us. They caught us and they delivered it. They punished us. We had to stay there 2 weeks after the school. That's when I tell these kids I've seen a ghost. I never believed in ghosts in my life. Never did. And here I seen one that time. Anyway, that's a long story too. But I'm trying to tell you about how they treat us, you know. Anyway, we stayed there. I stayed there 2 weeks afterwards. I had to sleep upstairs in a dormitory, all alone, the officer's room, being all alone there. And there was a farmer downstairs, called Sam Ranville. He's the boys. He helped around and take care of that place during the summer. He had a daughter named Ruby. They lived in one room down there, big room. Anyway, they give me a lamp, you know, by my bed. This one time I went to bed. I was all alone. I wasn't scared of nothing. I just laid there. Kid is upstairs attic. This is where our uniforms were. This must be 1, 2, the third floor is up in the attic. Small, crowded attic. There's all the uniforms and everything were up there. And that leading to that stairway down there, it is padlocked with a great big government padlock, big brass padlock. I know that. It's locked. Here, as I was laying there, pretty soon I heard noise upstairs, you know, just like somebody's walking. So I listened. I lit the lamp, and I didn't blow it out yet. I turned it down, you know. They fill it up with kerosene, so I put it down. And I was listening. They put it soon. Somebody was walking on upstairs, and he come down that stairs right through that padlocked door. He come right through. Then he came in the other room, and then the other room was a big dormitory, like, you know. He went way in the back. In the summers when they leave, they stack all the mattresses on top, one bed here, another, in bunches like that. I could hear him, mattress and springs back there, way back there. And I listened there, and here he's coming back again. I think he's going to go back upstairs, and here, right by there is my door. He come in there. Must have come in there because I was looking at that door, and here towards the light I could see something gray kind of walking towards me, you know. By God, I don't know how I got out of that place, and I don't know how I went by there, but I went downstairs, just where I am, and I beat it down to that Sam Renville's place, and I pounded on the door. I said, "What's the matter?" He said, "There's something up there." He said, "Scared me." So you better stay right here. He must have went up. He must have had a lantern, went up and turned the light off or something. Good thing I didn't knock that lamp down, and would have burned the place down. But I slept there. And next morning, we eat over the dining room, but he fed me there. He said, "I'm going to tell the superintendent." He said, "His name is Mossman." I went over there. I told him, "What's the matter?" "Oh, there's something bothering me last night up there. I'm scared." "Well," he said, "you could go home then." Just as luck would have it, he took me to the agency. That's where Sissy and them, we went to camp that time. We turned around. But that was, the barn is still there. There's farmers over there, the agency. They got teams and buggies. If you tell them, they would take me home to Enemy Swim. But just as luck, that used to be agency and everything right there. A little store there too. When they got there, we got over there. There's my grandfather just happened to be there. He was going to come over, but I just met him there. Boy, I was glad. Got in a wagon, we came home. But that was part of that story. I never did believe in ghosts, but I seen one that time. I thought, well, maybe it's my imagination, but I know it isn't. Anyway, that's how they treated us there. Well, that, I don't know what year or what time that was. I don't know even know what grade I am, but I know I was in 5th grade, I think. 4th or 5th. 4th grade, maybe. Oh, the fall year, one time they come over there. Here, his name is Frank Mann from Pipestone, Minnesota, with double buggy with her name Ed Hamager. Mules to come over, they drove up and said, we come after Abel, they told my grandmother. We're going to take him to school, send him away to school, learn. I talked English a little bit then, you know. I was pretty good. Not too good, but I interpret for my grandfather. A lot of funny things happened there too, but we just jumped at it. And they took me by surprise. I didn't have a chance to run away or not. I could have run into the woods. They'd never catch me, you know. I don't know. But they had me. So my grandmother was so mad. She was crying. But they told me it's good. It's going to be for the best. You know what I had? All I had on was a big overhaul, blue shirt, and must have pants on. I mean, shoes on. They put me in that buggy and some kind of jacket. Took me down. They called Peaver, South Dakota. I don't know what happened, but anyway, I found myself on a train going to Pipestone, Minnesota. And I stayed in Pipestone, Minnesota 3 straight years. But what I'm trying to tell you, the white men teachers, they made me, you know, I was rebellious. They made me didn't trust the white men all that life because the way they treated us, oh boy. I was telling you about that toilet at boarding school is about 100 yards. In the wintertime, if you should happen to go to the toilet, you gotta come downstairs and go out of the door, and whether it's cold or blizzard or not, you gotta go on a board sidewalk. Go way down there and sit down and get through and come back up. And them disciplinarians and the matrons, they had inside toilet themselves, but they wouldn't go down there and run around down there. Just Indian kids, we had to go down there, run around at night. Boy, I didn't like it. I told my grandfather I didn't like it, the way they treat me. Treat me hard. That's all right. We have to learn from them. So that's part of the boarding school story, that how they treat us, you know. Every time we talk Indian, they, severe punishment. You don't punish kids like that no more. Just like a prisoner of war, you know. And they made me bitter towards white men, how they treated me. I didn't like them. When they got to Pipestone, Minnesota, it was not too, a little better, but not too much either. I was 4th grade or something like that. See, when they graduated at Pipestone, it's 6th grade. That's when you finish school that time. So I must have stayed there 3 years. I think I skipped. I stayed 4 years, but I dropped back 1 grade. I don't know why I done that for. To be with my friend, I think. They didn't say nothing, so I stayed there 4 years. But at 3 years, I told this Mr. Mann, he's a superintendent, everybody was going home in June. She made me lonesome, nobody. So I walked over there and I said, what's the matter? He knows me. Abel, what's the matter? Oh, she says, I want to go home and see my grandfather and grandmother. Okay, well, we'll send you home. I said, you go tomorrow. Boy, I was glad. It just surprised me. You know, I never worried about nothing in them 3 years I was there. Here, you can go home. But I got to fix him up a great big shoebox full of lunch. And I had a shiny forehead cap too that I was coming. I got on a train at Pipestone and they showed me. They gave me a big pin, a big ticket on me. And I went to Wilmer, Minnesota. Not Wilmer, Montevideo, I think. Then you come west towards, I'll be in Ortley. And I got off. Nobody knew I was coming home. I walked home. Sure surprised the heck out of my grandfolks when I walked in. That winter I tried to go to day school and I couldn't cut the mustard. Didn't do a good job, so the next year they sent me to. No, they took me back that year. They took me back late. But I went back to, I finished school, 6th grade. Boy, I feel good. Mr. Mann was telling the people, said, one time we picked up a boy, years ago. He was, grandfolks was involved in, would hate to see him come, but today he's going to finish school yet, he's going to go home. He was talking about me. He liked me. He pitied me, I guess, in a way. Whoever thought about clothes, money, or nothing? I never think of nothing. Just, I don't even know how we got money. I think we sold some stuff for it. I don't even know how we made money. Well, once in a while, that assistant agency will send some money down there for the school from the tribe and whatever it was. They give us so much a week. That's about all 50 cents. That's all we had. All the Christmas and Halloweens, we all made our own stuff. We done our own thing. But there's another place there too. There was a man come back from the First World War. His name was Louis Latreille. And he was a breed, I think, more like a white. And he married to a colored woman. He was a disciplinarian. You know, that man made us run 1 or 2 miles, cold morning, and done calisthenics outside for little boys. And boy, he was just like, he was worse than them drill sergeants in the Second War. I seen drill sergeants pretty honored, but he was worse, boy. I always used to wish if I ever grew up and get out and see him in another place, I'm going to sure work him over with a club. I never did see him. Somebody told me he was seen someplace, but he must be getting old then. Anyway, he's the one that, they had a dairy man. His name was Robinson. You know, we had to milk 40 Jersey cows, and there was about 20 of us, little boys, small boys. We had to get up about 4:30 in the morning, get up, and they rolled us out, and they made us get out in winter, summer, cold, makes no difference. You go down to the dairy, they call it the dairy, under the kitchen, there's pails there. We get our pails, and then the big boys, they go down and make bread, punch dough. While we go up, then we walk quite a way to the barn, and we each have one cow, or sometimes we have 2 apiece. I always remember I have 25 and 26 numbers on the hips on the cows. We'll milk them. And you got to weigh them. And they make sure that they get the same amount of milk. You know, that man had a rubber hose. He used it on us if we'll make a mistake, and if we don't, and he just kind of laugh at us too. He's a great big man. Oh, gee. If you fellas, it must be at least 300 pounds, you know. kind of laughs. His stomach goes up and down. We were scared of him, boy. But that Louis trade discipline was no better. Boy, he was a terrible man. Same thing, same clothes, different clothes, no difference. It's all same. We lose him, boy, we catch heck. We march to dining rooms and we eat. Same thing. Meat, bread, and pickles and gravy, and that's what butter. They all made homemade. And there's no such a thing as candy, cakes, and pie. Oh, that was Thanksgiving or Christmas. Maybe they'll give us, that time they'll give us little change, a pie, or I don't know if we get ice cream. I don't remember it. But anyway, I spent 3 years of that miserable life there like a penitentiary. I don't know. I never learned much. I learned to be bitter, that was all. And most of them boys that do this, so they're alive today, they'll tell you the same thing. It was no training center. It was a military training center. That's what it was. I seen a big show of it years afterwards. Not where we are, but it was a show, they call it, Richard Dix acted in it. They call it What Price Glory Now. He was acted as an Indian who had lived in a boarding school like we did, and he went to the World War, First War, and come back to see his folks, how they were treated, and how the Indians treat the white men, treat the Indians. How in a boarding school, Wallace Berry, they call him, he's acts like a leech looking at girls when they swim. He'd peep at them through the brush, and oh, it was a terrible show. You know one thing? They have never rerun that show again. That show, not that if they did, boy, the BIA would never allow it. They probably can about 1,000 of these employees. If they run that show again, What Price Glory Now. But anyway, I came home and went back and finished, and then I came home, and that's the time that is about the last time, or was it what before? The first time I went back to Pipestone, I went back late because I went thrashing machine, earned money. First time I earned money. Oh, I was glad. Had a little bit of a rack. That's the time I seen steam engine thrashing machines. They got great big separators, they call them. They call them Avery separators. The steam engines that burn coal and wood, and big draft horses, they haul water, tanks, water. And when that thing starts in the morning, it doesn't quit until just a little while at noon, and then it starts again. It don't quit till dark. I don't know. I think it was getting, it's either $2.50 or $3 a day I was getting. Has long hours too. But boy, talk about them farmers to feed. It looks like a Thanksgiving Day feed 3 times a day, just like the women trying to outdo each other. One place we eat, they even had candles burning in the evening. Oh, they eat good. They feed good, but our wages was, we sleep right in the hay racks, empty hay racks, or load up and just sleep up in there. Got a tarp, and there's no going home or going into a shower or nothing. If you want to swim, we'll go down to the lake some evening and swim, and you get full of chaff. But I earned money that time, and that's how they took me back. But when I finished, I came back and done the same thing. But that's when I went to Flandreau. That was 1924. But that Pipestone deal, that was a corker, boy. That man was mean. Not the superintendent, but the disciplinarians. They made you. They drilled you. They made you scrub on your hands and knees. You pick up the yard and just pick up every little article. I seen him do that in the army. But he made us do that. Boy, I never did like that fella. It made me bitter towards white men for a long time. After that, I didn't want to accept, because Pipestone, Minnesota was a good boarding school at that time. I heard after it became a orphanage, but I don't know, maybe they even wiped it out now. I don't ever seen it no more. Of course, that was quite a while ago. You know, I had must be, what kind of a epidemic went through there that during the First World War. Was it influenza, or was it the smallpox, or was something? It was a great big epidemic that killed thousands of people all over the United States. I remember, must be towards spring. I was studying, it was April, I don't remember it. I felt bad, so I was leaning against the radiator trying to keep warm. I was standing there and put the sun. That's all I remembered. I don't know what happened. I must have fell down, or I don't know. Because I woke up here, I come to here, I was laying in they had a little hospital there. Looked like just like a big, I see a lot of homes, bigger than that hospital anyway, nowadays. But they had one there. There's a nurse there called Mrs. Dawson. His son's name is Stanley. He goes to school uptown, about a mile from town. Goes to high school up there. This Mrs. Dawson is sure good to me. I must have stayed there a month or over a month, because that's when the vacation was over. That's when my grandfather went after me again in a buggy. They got as far as Flandreau, and then they came on a train, so we went back on a train to Flandreau, and then from there on we got in that buggy, and we came towards Siston, towards our place on the Missouri. We camped once. I think we camped once, or maybe twice, I don't know. Just by a big sloughs. Them days, a lot of open fields. But that Pipestone deal, I had that influenza or smallpox, whatever. Because you see potter marks on my face. He didn't kill me. I got well. But it took me a long time. That woman was sure good to me, because I don't know, all through life, some people they must pity me or something. A lot of people were good to me. Even in Flanders, some school teachers were good. They were old women, though. They were nice to me, kind to me. But I didn't like that. So my life was just a mixed up life. From the early stages of life, the white man made me bitter. How they treated me, I was that way most of my life. Of course, now it's over with, and the religion has stepped in and has taught us to forgive. I got a lot of religion friends now. I feel good, but I'm a man. I'm a full blood, registered as a full blood. And I tell you, if I talk to a man, a white man, and if he comes on strong, I know right away when he means it or not, or he's trying to con me. I know right the minute he starts talking. It true friend don't talk about you. Hello, I love Indians much. I'm sure good to Indians. I think a lot about this Indian. They're the first Americans and all that. When they start talking, you know, that's just a put-on job, you know. A true friend, a white man, he'll never say nothing. He wouldn't mention nothing. He just walk around with you, or drink with you, or smoke with you, and travel around with you, and sleep at your place, and he just don't say nothing. He just talk, and just like Indians, they don't talk. Indians are great humorists, but they're in a different way. Charles Russell said that at one time in Montana. These Indians are really humorous, but you have to understand them. You have to live with them and be with them. Of course, I don't understand the languages he said, but they have a way of expressing them. That's true. I could tell a joke in Indian, and it's very funny, you know. But if I translated it into English and try to tell it, you know, it just falls flat. There is no, it's just no good. In some of my stories I got to too. All my stories I got to tell it in English, and I had a heck of a time translating as I go along, but I do the best I can. And I've told a lot of stories to my grandchildren, Penny, Tony, and Lidora. Sometimes they're good ones. I like it. I tell them a story about you gotta lift your plates before you eat. Here goes. You eat some too. You say that in your mind. Here goes. You eat some too. And you put the plate down. Do that. Don't forget it. Because someday when you're all alone, or out all alone, some night all alone, a ghost might punch you in the back, and he'll say, "Hey, did you forget to pull that plate up? Why did you forget?" Somebody said that to you, oh boy, you'll drop right there, innit? Or heart attack, or just faint. I would. Of course, I'm too dumb to faint or have I might get a heart attack. But that's some of my story of my life. It's just the bitter comes out. Now, like I say, now I forget. I outlived it, and my Grandpa Hopkins, he said, "The white man, you're gonna go west." He said, "You're gonna be married up there." You said that. He said, "I always remember the white man is gonna get the best of you." He said, "The longer you live, the longer you'll know what I say, what I mean." You know what I thought that time? I thought he meant every time I meet a white man, I better be careful. He'll knock the heck out of me, you know, fight. Here, that isn't what he meant. He meant, you know, I got great-grandchildren now that's two-headed, especially little Doug Hopkins' kids. They're just blonde and blue eyes, and there ain't a bit of Indian in them. It looks like, but underneath that, there's Indian blood. That's what my grandfather said. The white man is gonna overcome you, or something like that. See, even my granddaughters are married to white. I guess love knows no bounds, you know. Well, I could say even my daughters are married to white people. Both of my daughters. No wonder my grandfather said that. Here I was acting rough, but that's not so. Now I finally pull in my horns, and I want to live a nice, quiet life. Oh boy, we're lucky to give us Social Security, and I get a veteran's check. I live in a nice little place. I like to sit here, just Just think back, think about old times. I can remember a lot of incidences. That's what he says in the Bible. The young will go forward looking for adventure or find new things, when the old ones will stay home and dream dreams. I guess that means we'll think about old dreams, just memory. I like it sometimes. But you know, this recording, it's a wonderful invention. I'm going to try to record a lot of stuff, you know. And see, if I ever pass on, I'm going to have, I don't know who I'm going to give them to, but Richard Jenkins is kind of my top man. I love him very much. Maybe he don't know it, but he reminds me how my grandfather raised me and how I treat my grandfather. He's doing to me just like I have done to my grandfather, the same thing. He thinks everything I got, he owns it. You know, he doesn't have to ask me. He says, that's mine. It's my grandfather, that's mine. Everything. I don't care what it is. And, well, I can't say no either. I don't know if I'm spoiling him or just reliving my little boyhood, I guess. Which is, he's yellow-headed, blue eyes, green eyes. But wonder if underneath that yellow and green, there's about a quarter of a Sioux blood in him there. So he's enrolled in Sisseton, South Dakota, him and his brother, R.J. He's dark-headed and dark eyes and everything. Wonderful family I got. I like them all. I love them all, no matter where they are. And my greatest wish is may they find all the happiness that could be found. You must remember, money is not the answer. But it's nice to have it, though. You gotta have money, but it's education. Don't fight the white man like I did in my mind. I rebelled. I didn't want to learn from them. But now, I see you have to learn from them. Go to school, get an education, be competitive Indian. You have the equal rights as they have. Because, I don't know, you hear a lot of things and a lot of stuff we don't know. I like it though. Sit here and talk. You know, getting so maybe I'm losing I'm kind of half off anyway, you know. But it's good. I like to talk. I want to make some more about some stories, but this one is just, I try to tell about my boyhood. When I was a little boy, when I had that 4 braids, or 2 braids, in that neck of the woods I was raised, I know every part of that place where all the good berries are, and I even know where the rabbit holes are, and the cottontails. I know where they live, because I could stick my hand in that hole and I could feel the fur, soft little furs, and I let them go. I'm not even scared of snakes. There's no rattlesnakes in South Dakota where I come from, not even cactus. Then I know where the brown thrush live in the trees with the big holes. If I stick my hand in there, I could feel them little mouth. They're all picking at me. I suppose they all have the mouth open, you know, trying to eat something. I know where the best cherries were, choke cherries. There was little juneberries there too, and they call them some kind of a thorn apples, them kind. Then raspberries, gooseberries, strawberries. That was my little boy lifetime. You know, I was telling this Mormon missionaries, they come and visit me and talk. They wanted me to talk about olden days. So I lived with my grandfather and his mother. Sometimes I just get a blanket and go in the woods right close to some, just lay under the trees, go to sleep. I never was scared of the dark. That's what my grandfather taught me, never to be scared of the dark. Scared of the daylight, because that's when it's dangerous. They see you. He says, at nighttime, they don't see you. You just stand still. Nothing's going to bother you. Here it's opposite. Now everybody's scared of you. Well, I wouldn't blame them. Nowadays, you walk around the street someplace, they'll hit you in the back of the head for 10 cents even. Men